What's up guys? Before I start this next video, if you're subscribed to my channel, I'd like to ask you to make sure that you're getting all my notifications, meaning that you're getting notified through YouTube every single time I put out a new video. I realized the other day that when you subscribe to somebody, the default setting is that you'll receive some notifications. If you're a fan of my content and you don't want to miss a notification every time I put out a new video, please make sure in your settings that you have the default setting changed to all notifications versus only some of them. I don't even know where to start with this one, to be honest. In my life and time, over the years, as a young adult, exploring his libido, I have discovered that this is an issue for way more men than I ever thought it could be an issue for. Like, it's way more frequent than I thought it would be. And I think it's time for us to discuss this. The elephant in the room, which is guys who have a hard time keeping it up. So recently this guy reached out to me on an app and he was very direct, he knew what he wanted. There was no ambiguity. He wasn't looking for friends, not looking for a partner. No, like he was looking for a purely physical encounter. Are you in or are you out? And sometimes that can be too direct, right? Sometimes it can be too, not direct, but like tacky or vulgar, and I'll lose interest if a guy's like not respectful about it. This guy though, I love that he knew what he wanted. There was no confusion, and he was actually respectful towards me, and he was like, I would love to meet you. When can we hang out? So I was into it, met up with him, and from the jump, from the get-go, he was talking my ear off to the point where it was like Charlie Brown level, like, I love good conversation, don't get me wrong. Clearly I'm a talker, but it's also like, read the room. You know, if I'm there giving you these like flirty cues and all you can do is turn this into like a therapy session about your woes in Miami and living in Miami Beach, it's like, come on. So finally he gets the memo and he starts kissing me, and good kisser actually, so that part was good. But as we keep kissing and you know, I'm trying to like take it to the next level, I realize that he's not ready. Like, if this is a track meet, the athlete is not ready to perform. And so I don't bring attention to it, right? Because I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable, right? If this is all psychological, which I think for the most part it is, you know, bringing attention to that will probably make it even worse, right? So I'm like, go with the flow. This guy maybe just needs some time to feel comfortable and at ease. And finally, he brings it up and he's like, listen, I'm sorry. I think you're right that I might be nervous. Sometimes this happens to me. But, you know, I want to see you again. I'm really into you, blah, 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 you know, the spiel. So that was it. And then I walked my ass home. Nothing happened. I'm just kind of puzzled and I'm thinking like, how does this even happen? Like, if somebody knows that they have an issue with this, right? I can totally sympathize with this. Is a thing clearly a lot of men deal with. But if you know you struggle with this, why would you even put yourself and another person, in this case me, through this awkwardness where now we're both kind of just feeling probably uncomfortable and kind of embarrassed and not sure what to make of it? If you know this is something you struggle with, why wouldn't you like prepare for it? I don't know, take a Viagra. Have a drink or two or three if it's gonna make you more at ease. Or better yet, if you struggle with performing for a hookup, why even hook up in this manner? Like, why not use these apps to have dates or to make friends and say, hey, I first wanna build a connection just so I feel more comfortable, and then trust me, then like we'll both feel more comfortable. It just made me think, is this part of our ADD culture that I think we've developed, this fast food mindset of instant gratification, onto the next, swipe, swipe, swipe. It's just really bizarre to me to like plan to meet up with somebody and then not be able to go through with it. And this is not the first time that this kind of thing has happened for me. I mean, it's the first time that the guy just couldn't get into it at all. But I've had other situations where I had great chemistry with a guy, and whether it was nerves on his part or my lack of a desire to do certain things, and then I don't know, maybe feeling rejected that I didn't want to like go all the way or do X, Y, and Z and actually like have certain boundaries. But I've encountered other guys in the past who then, it just kind of kills the mood, right? Because now you're thinking, is it me? And then the person probably feels even worse about it. I remember years ago, this was a long time ago, this is like early 20s, so a decade ago, And this guy was also in his early 20s. So there was actually a sweetness to it in that we were both much younger, kind of new to exploring our sexuality. And I remember that he was nervous, like noticeably nervous. And he's like, I'm sorry, like maybe this wasn't a good idea. Maybe I think I just need a drink. And I was like, it's all good. Like there's no pressure. I like talking to you. Luckily, had plenty of vodka at the apartment back then. I remember giving him one drink of vodka mixed with this like syrup shit, and he was good to go. And it ended up being such a sexy encounter because I watched somebody become more comfortable with the dynamic, and there was something really sexy about getting somebody out of their shell without pressure, without, you know, judgment. So I'm saying all this to say, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of this is purely psychological, which I have compassion for. But again, if you know that you have this complex or sensitivity, why would you even put yourself in that situation and put another person in that situation? I don't get it. Like, it's one thing if you meet somebody at a bar and it's very organic and in the moment, spontaneous, you want to go home with them, and then this issue happens. Or I don't know, you're in a relationship with somebody and sometimes you struggle with this. But the idea of planning to meet with somebody for a hookup and then you can't actually do the hookup, it's very strange to me. I'm like, are people that impulsive nowadays that they're not even thinking about whether this is worth their time and the other person's time? I'm not saying, by the way, that if you have an issue with this, that you just shouldn't have a sex life at all. I'm not saying that at all. What I don't understand is like planning to hook up with somebody purely physical, purely carnal, we'll say, purely lustful. If you know this is an issue for you, like, why would you put yourself, I guess, in the lion's den, right? Like, why would you set yourself up for that potential like disaster? What do you guys think about this?